Whoa, whoa, we be vibing, we be rolling, never stopping, keep on going, getting with me. It's your boy back, you no worry, we be rolling, hey, whoa, 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 hey, get in with your boy, whoa. Ooh, is that a beat switch? It's a chill vibe out here with your boy Gib Lab. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Let's freaking get it. Whoa, whoa, hey, Get my Starbucks. I'm a big buck. Take a big sip, never stopping, and I'll be deep. Oh, I don't know what I just said, but it sounded good in my head. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. It's your boy Gabe Lab. I did not come here for that, but we are chilling. It's been a great vibe so far. It's been a great day so far. In general, on the outside, we just gotta like stay positive and stay happy regardless of whatever is going on. My city temple recently got hit with a tornado, so I'm sending out love, and I'm sending out love, and I'm sending out all of my help whenever I can to all those that I know around me, friends and family that are around the area that have been hurt by the storm and the tornado. I've pretty much kind of like been out there using my car, helping out with moving some trees, and we can't do anything about the power, but at least the things that we can fix, things like the trees, keeping the food cold, because power is out in major areas, and temple is still out. Some people still don't have the good service or nothing like that, so I'm just sending out love to all those I also do not know, and I hope you guys are doing okay during such tough times, man. Nothing can break the power of this city, man. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So we got this, guys. I know it's crazy, we gotta go through all this and then still go back to work like the next day, or even maybe the next week like nothing happened, or even the same day. I know some people that have to go to work the same day. It's never easy out there, but tough people sometimes don't last, but tough people do. They can never break our spirits. We keep going, guys. Man, it's been crazy. We had like a major storm. I got affected too, but nothing really major like everybody else. Mostly what happened to my place was we didn't have power, I didn't have service for a while, and I could not edit no videos, and I definitely couldn't make any videos. My food went bad in the freezer, but that was about it. Besides that, I never had like any major damage to my apartment. Everything else was okay. But yeah, we're back again in another video. Today we're going to be talking about federal law enforcement. So in my previous video I've spoken about looking into federal law enforcement jobs, and it's kind of setting my eyes on it, because I feel like people in the federal law enforcement, I'm not gonna say it gets you the job, I'm just gonna say that it's kind of like seen as a nice thing on your reference when you've served in the military before. And nothing, like I said, nothing is gonna get you the job, but hey, it's worth the try. So that's kind of like what I've been looking into, and then I figured, since I'm looking into federal law enforcement, there's no way I'm the only person out here that's trying to do something into federal law enforcement. And basically this video is about talking about federal law enforcement exams, and there's nothing particular about this. You can go online and see this yourself, or you can go to someone that's taken the exam before, but I'm not gonna say anything about the exam because I don't know, I can't remember any questions. However, we can talk about the things you're gonna expect to see when you're taking your federal law enforcement examinations. But first of all, let's talk about the federal law enforcement agencies out there. So honestly, there is a lot of federal law enforcement agencies out there. I'm just going through my phone right now, and we have a lot. I didn't even know there was this many federal law enforcement agencies out there. So I know we have like the DEA, which is the Drug Enforcement Administration. We have the FBI, we have Homeland Security, we have Secret Service. Besides those, I think the DOJ. I'm not sure. I don't really know much about federal law enforcement agencies. I know Border Patrol a federal law enforcement agency? I don't know, guys. But we got a list of some of them over here. We have the Federal Bureau of Prisons. We have the Fish and Wildlife. We have the I was right, DOJ. The DOJ is part of it. You have the Citizenship Office, which is USCIS. You also have the National Institute of Health Police. You have the Postal Inspection Services. You have the NSA, which is the National Security Agency. You have the National Park Service. You have the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Police Department. Didn't even know about that. That's pretty cool, actually. The United States Department of Federal Affairs Police Department. So, like I said in my previous video, I'm not necessarily gonna talk about the particular exam that I took and for what department I took it for. I'm just gonna let you know I applied for a federal law enforcement job. Now, if I do get it, it's in the air. Hope for the best. But today we're gonna talk about some kind of sections that you're gonna see in a federal law enforcement examination. So basically, in general, a good rule of thumb whenever applying to any job is you want to focus on the company that you're applying to. And that applies to everything. If you're preparing for an interview, you want to kind of like focus on the missions and the values and everything about the company and kind of like get to know the company better. And the same rules also applies when it comes to the examination, because the examination or the testing is the first thing you take. Sorry, I have to like do a little burp. The examination of the testing is kind of like the first thing you take. I can't really speak for like every other job in general, but when it comes to law enforcement, what I've learned so far is like the examination and the testing, the written examination, to be specific. The written examination and the testing is kind of like the first thing you take care of, and then you go ahead and discuss and maybe like go into the physical test and other aspect, interview, all that good stuff. But the first thing you take care of is the written examination. And whether it's federal law enforcement or it's just like state level kind of law enforcement or even whatever level it is you're looking at, I've kind of like come to learn like a good rule of thumb is just stick to the organization that you're working on. It's okay to practice with every other practice questions out there, but you do yourself a good advantage by just looking up the preparation guide for the department that you're applying to, if they have one, or if the surrounding ones around there, if the agencies surrounding them have one as well. So yeah, that's my only little word of advice, pretty much. But when I've gone through some of the federal law enforcement written examination, what I've kind of like seen across all phases of the written examination is some questions that let's kind of pop out, and one of them is like logical reasoning. And it's not just gonna be me talking over here. You're gonna see some pop-ups every now and again. Some logical reasoning questions. So, for example, when we're talking about logical reasoning questions, we're thinking of something like this, whereby they set up the question, and so you basically want to focus on the questions. Like when I was practicing for one of my questions, I tried to still instill the idea that I knew. So basically, they give you a passage, or they give you a passage, and they give some questions that are specifically related to that passage. Whatever idea you might think you know about that passage, if it's not written in the passage, pretty much don't answer it right. Like if the passage says, for example, and I might throw an example up here, but if the passage says, officers are not supposed to be at work until 10 a.m. But you know these particular officers do be at work before 10 a.m. You don't pull it before 10 a.m. You stick to kind of like what the passage says, you feel me? Like you just stick to what the passage says. And that can get a little tricky on some of the questions. You're gonna see it. It kind of like gets a little tricky on some of the questions. But you guys are smart people, so you figure it out, you know. But yeah, that's kind of like what it is. You want to focus on the passage, and whatever question comes at you from the passage, you kind of like want to derive your answers from the passage as opposed to what you previously already know about that department in the real world. Whatever you know in the real world does not apply in that question. What that passage is what applies. Moving on to the next section that I think also was kind of like across all faces was a figural reasoning, and maybe some of y'all don't know what figural reasoning is. Figural reasoning is just basically some shapes. For those that already know what figural reasoning is, hell yeah, great job. For those that do not know what figural reasoning is, and I'm going to pop it up as well. Figural reasoning is just basically shapes. So basically you've probably seen questions like this whereby you have like 1, 2, 3, and then that actually what's the next number in the sequence, and clear that's 4 because it's an incremental of 1, 1, 1. And you've had questions whereby it's been like 1, 3, 5, 7. So you kind of like see how that's you kind of like see how that keeps going up by an incremental of 2. So you have 1, 3, 5, 7, and they actually what's the next number in the sequence, and you'd be like, okay, well, that's 9 because it's been an incremental of 2 so far. Basically, that's the same thing with figural reasoning. It's a figural reasoning this time, you're dealing with shapes. And your time limit is pretty short. I'm not gonna specifically say a time limit because every other department might be different, but I've come to learn the time limit is not as long as you would like or need. So you do figural reasoning. Figural reasoning is kind of like dealing with shapes, and they want you to like kind of like look at the shapes and tell you them what's the next shape in the sequence. So what I've come to learn that you want to focus on whenever practicing for figural reasoning is you kind of like want to focus on the numbers of like what you see in the shapes. And I think it's better if I give an example. So here is kind of like an example of what the figural reasoning looks like. So you see these shapes right here. You're seeing this old box of circles, and you're probably wondering what the hell is this. This is actually a pretty easy one. But as you can see, the first shape with the circles in there, the second shape with the circles in there, the third shape with the circles in there, and I kind of like want to see what's the next shape in this in the sequence. So basically, what you want to do is kind of like look at the pattern. The pattern in these questions, for example, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 circles. That is important because sometimes in the next shape it might be 4 circles. Sometimes in the next shape it might be 3 circles. So you kind of like want to see if it is going down or if it is going up. And if it is staying static as it is staying right here, then you're fine. Now you don't have to worry about the number more. You have to worry about the movement. That's the next thing. Number 1, numbers. Number 2, the movement of the shapes of the shapes they're giving you. So in this particular area, you notice that in the first shape, we have like a little plane right there. It's called horizontal. The circles are all horizontal, and if you notice, in the next shape, they're vertical, and then again the next shape they're horizontal again. So what will be the what do you think would most likely be the next sequence? Vertical. That's it. It's been horizontal, then it's been vertical, then back to horizontal again. Then the next sequence will just be what? Vertical. Boom. Our answer will be D. Easy, like I said. But just so you know, not every single figural reasoning question is that easy. So let's try and pick something that is a little bit different. So for example, number 3 question, we're seeing the same, like I said, look for the numbers. Those are very, very important. If you don't learn anything today, remember, in figural reasoning, look for the numbers. So you see, they're all vertical right there, but they're not just vertical, they're all vertical in the middle shape. They're all vertical, but like they stay in the middle. So if you notice, the first shape, it's on the third one, it's in the middle of the shape, but it is vertical. And in the next shape, that was my power is just tripping. I hope my power does not go out. But they're working on it right now. In the next shape, you see it's a little bit more diagonal, and in the next shape you see it's more horizontal. So we're kind of like seeing the sequence. It's going clockwise, but not just that it's going clockwise. It's going clockwise, being vertical. Then it went to the right, diagonal. Then it went another right again, which made it horizontal. So again, what will be our next sequence? And this is pretty easy to figure out. After it was this, then it was this. Then it was this, so it was kind of like this, then it was this, then it was this. Our next sequence will clearly be this. So we're looking for something that is like that. It's diagonal as well, that kind of thing. But you're also going to stay in the middle. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying. Anyways, basically our answer again for that one will be D as well. Yeah, so basically I can do a whole class about figural reasoning later for those who need to like learn and work on their figural reasoning, because although those are actually kind of easy, they are not that easy in the exam. They're not that easy in the exam, but you also have the time factor to worry about. So that's another thing you have to think about, because you don't just have the time to sit down there and think, okay, how many numbers do I have? How many shapes do I have? No, you don't. You have to kind of like work fast with it. Those were easy questions, but they help you build your knowledge of figural reasoning. So I'll still say practice them. I'm going to drop the link in the video. The next section that I like to talk about is the situational judgment. So not every single department does this, but some departments do it. And you have to, when you take your exams for some of the local, state level enforcement or law enforcement, you also have situational judgment. However, this one is a little bit different because they give you situational judgment, but right after you take your situational judgment, you have something called a memory skill. It's a little bit different because in the situational judgment, they give you a situation, and they tell you to like access it, and they ask you for your best answer to the situation. Of course, you want to provide the right answer in the situational judgment. But unlike the state level law enforcement, whereby you do your situational judgment and kind of just like that's it. No, you do your situational judgment, and then you they give you a section that kind of like focuses on the situational judgment I just taught you about, which is skills testing your memory. So if you're working on a situational judgment skill, it is best, it will behoove you to learn whatever you can about that situation. For example, if your situation was talking about a protest whereby your supervisor told you to get your riot gear, if your supervisor's name was Ben, basically you want to remember every detail about that situation that was given to you. Supervisor Ben told me to go get my riot gear at 10 a.m. and meet him at the protest occurring downtown. You kind of like want to focus on everything down to the supervisor's name and down to, the riot gear, the time, the location, things like that. Because in the memory section that they're going to ask you about, they want to test you. They're most likely they're going to test you on what you just learned in the situational judgment, and you can't go back to that previous page. You kind of like have to remember everything. And that's kind of like the ones I've seen so far. I can't really speak more for anything else, but I'm tracking that, okay, logical reasoning, which is more like a deductional thingy, and then you have the figural reasoning. That's very important. Figural reasoning is always there. And then you have the whatchamacallit now, not just figural reasoning, you have the situational judgment, and then you have skills that test your memory pretty much. But that's pretty much it when it comes to federal law enforcement that I know about. But like I said, good rule of thumb is focus on what your department is offering, because just going out there and freestyling and practicing whatever is not just gonna cut it. You kind of like want to focus on what your department is giving you. You kind of like want to focus on what preparation guide your department decides to give to you, and you can find that online. Anybody can find that online. There's nothing discreet about that. If you guys need to make a video about figural reasoning and kind of like just breaking down figural reasoning and how I practice my figural reasoning and how I pass my figural reasoning, let me know down in the comment section. But that's it for this video. Remember to like this video and subscribe, help the channel. And if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section. But for now, until later, as always, it's your boy Gabe Lab. Peace and love.